E3 is upon us and no one is pulling any punches, so why should we? Sony and Microsoft are two of the world's gaming giants, so we all look forward to their E3 press conferences each and every year to see what they're bringing to the table. In this video, we'll be looking at some of the latest rumors and exclusives coming from Sony and Microsoft. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to The Gamer and ring that bell to be part of our notification squad so you never miss a video. Without further ado, let's put Sony and Microsoft head to head to see who's taking 2018. Halo 6. This is Microsoft's flagship series. Sure, they have other IPs, and there are rumors that there might be some new franchises at E3, but Halo stands above the rest when it comes to generating hype. Even a simple teaser would be enough to generate a craze among fans. And it's been a while since Halo 5 Guardians dropped, so it's likely that we'll see something about Halo this year, whether it be a trailer or even just a simple announcement. We have confirmation at least that 343 Industries is hard at work on another Halo game after their community manager, his name is Brian Gerard, he tweeted about it when talking about a Halo arcade game that was also being developed. And even though it's only been a few years, a lot has changed since Halo 5. Will there be a Battle Royale game mode like most online games today are developing? Because the Halo franchise has always had a strong online multiplayer, right? And the addition of a Battle Royale would go great with the Halo format, would it not? The game is expected to follow the Reclaimer saga that occurs after the events of Halo 3. And this was outlined by 343, and the plot focuses on Master Chief and his relationship with Cortana. Shocker, right? I know, that's a theme that's prevalent in the entire Halo franchise. The studio did receive some negative criticism for the story of Halo 5, so they're expected to try and go for a more familiar story this time around. Just whatever they do, don't change the music. Spider-Man. Comic book games can best be described as a path of peaks and valleys, much like comic book movies before the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, Sony promises a new Spider-Man game, one made by the same studio who developed Ratchet & Clank and the Spyro games. It's set to come out in September and is going to feature our favorite web-slinging hero in as good of a game as Spider-Man 2 for the PS2. Now, we first heard about this game when it was teased at E3 2017, where we got to see some nice gameplay and take a look at the story. From what we see in the trailer, the combat will be focused on stealth takedowns with Arkham-style combat mixed with a variety of interactive set pieces. The gameplay outside of combat seems to run mostly on a mix of cinematic quick-time events where Spider-Man maneuvers with his web to avoid obstacles and pursue baddies. Of course, this was just an 8-minute gameplay trailer consisting of what we assume to be the first mission in the game. Now, since the trailer at E3 2017, updates have included new characters, costumes, as well as Insomniac Games tweeting about a studio-wide demo of the new game, showing that progress is promising and the chances of a pushback on the release date are slim. Next-gen Xbox. The Xbox One launched in 2013 and was the talk of E3 when it was released. Though it has its fair share of controversy, the Xbox One soon launched and was a huge success for Microsoft. Throughout the console's life cycle, there have been two other iterations, the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. So the One X recently dropped last November, making the chances of a new console release highly unlikely. Still, this hasn't stopped people from talking about the possibility of a new console and also speculating what this new machine might be and what it's capable of. There are so many rumors about the next-gen Xbox console, but there are only two things that are pretty much a guarantee at this point. Number one, in order to go above and beyond, people are speculating that the new Xbox will have at least a 2 terabyte hard drive with an option for even more storage. Number two, since we've reached a new peak in graphics and processing, the next-gen Xbox could have a native 4K resolution and run all games at 60 FPS. Could something better be on the horizon? Still, there's no guarantee that there will be an announcement for the new Xbox console, which could put Sony ahead if they move forward with their plans to announce the PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5. Of course, Sony might be taking Microsoft's lead with delaying the release of their next console as well. According to top Sony execs, Sony is in no rush to release the PlayStation 5, which makes sense. The PlayStation 4 Pro was released back in 2016, and while that may seem like a long while ago to some people, it's nowhere near long enough for a new console release. Sony confirming they won't be revealing any hardware at E3 says a lot. Most notably, it lets us know that the PlayStation 5 won't be revealed or even teased this year, but that Sony is focusing their efforts on games and software. But in this fever-induced sensation that is speculation, people are already starting to think of what the PlayStation 5 will be capable of. People are speculating a native 4K resolution and 60 FPS for all games. But could there be more to that? There's honestly no way of telling. Alternatively, we could see more integration of VR with the PS5. So far, out of all the major systems on the market, Sony is doing the most with virtual reality and to their benefit. It's not too far off to say they might do more with that technology and give the medium something gamers can latch onto and finally push the VR out of the realm of novelty into something more legitimate. Death Stranding. Easily one of the best games to be teased at E3 2016 was Death Stranding. An odd and horrifying game that left a lot of people wanting answers. After Kojima broke free and made his own independent studio, he wowed everyone at E3 in 2016 with an 8-minute trailer starring Norman Reedus, who you may know as Daryl from The Walking Dead. The game's cinematics were made possible with advanced motion capture and photogrammetry and promises to be a story-driven action mystery. Now, little has been confirmed since that trailer, aside from who will be starring and guest starring and the few tweets Kojima has released about it. Still, Sony has confirmed they will talk more about it at E3. What would we like to see at E3? Well, aside from the spectacular trailer, we didn't see much in the way of gameplay or really what the story is about. We've gotten a taste, but now we want more. An official release date? That would be nice. The game was announced in 2016 with more to come this year. A release date in late 2018 would be fantastic for Sony. Age of Empires 4. While it may not be the biggest name in gaming, veterans and strategy game enthusiasts will know the name Age of Empires. The famous real-time strategy game is returning for a new generation. Microsoft has handed off development of this game to Relic Games, the creators of Dawn of War 3. The game was announced last August, and so far, we know very little, and it has left a few fans feeling anxious. The thought of playing an Age of Empires game in this day and age is an odd feeling, since the franchise is so quintessentially 90s and 2000s. Still, having an announcement trailer with nothing more than concept art leaves a lot to be desired, and if Microsoft can deliver on this promise of a new Age of Empires game, it could bring real-time strategy back into the conversation about where video games are headed. Come on, Microsoft! You gotta deliver on those trailers and release dates. It's been nearly a year, and we've been given next to nothing to go on other than our hopes and our dreams. While this will be a game for the PC, it can still help out Microsoft. Their list of PC titles are growing, and the thought of them having a real PC presence like Steam would be a welcome surprise. The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us is one of the defining games of the PlayStation's unique IPs. It shattered so many records and practically reworked narrative gaming. Naughty Dog, the studio behind the game, created a game to rival their other well-written and polished story, Uncharted. The Last of Us Part 2 was confirmed, and people are jumping out the window in sheer joy at the thought of continuing this saga. Please note, the gamer does not condone jumping out the window from excitement for video games. Now, normally, when looking at a new game, people often look at what kind of mechanics will be introduced and what the combat will look like. However, with a game like The Last of Us, the story actually takes precedence over the game mechanics, as it will likely continue from the previous game that left us with a lot of questions. Very little is known about the game so far, but there have been rumors that it'll focus more on hatred than love like in the previous game. In this new game, Ellie will be older, about 19 in fact, and you will be taking more control of her than Joel. We haven't gotten a release date yet, but if we're to believe what Sony is saying, we'll find out when we can get our hands on this title at E3. A solid home run like this is something that Sony fans will surely sink their teeth into. Microsoft VR. Quite frankly, virtual reality is here to stay and will only improve if utilized more and in better games. Sony has been dominating the VR market with the only available VR system out of the three major consoles. The question some people are asking is, will Microsoft get involved with VR? There have been hints and speculation on whether Microsoft will dive into the virtual reality world. However, we haven't seen any indication that they're releasing something with VR support. Even at E3, will that be too late for Microsoft to dive in VR? The PlayStation VR has such a tight hold on the market that getting into VR now might end up being an uphill battle for Microsoft. Or will it? They have been developing something since 2013 that might be the next big thing. It's called Illumaroom. In a nutshell, this projector will expand your view of the game beyond the actual screen and give the player vital information to enhance their overall gaming experience. Basically, if Microsoft plans to officially roll this technology out, it would be a better version of the Kinect, which no one, we mean literally no one, liked. Like, the dancing was fun for a few minutes. Anyway, in all honesty, this project does sound better than the Kinect. But will it be better than VR? Let us know what you think in the comments. Shadows die twice. Fans of From Software, rejoice! We're getting a new IP, and it's looking better and better as Z3 draws near. We recently got a Dark Souls 1 Remastered Edition, which is all well and good, but some people were less than thrilled about it because it offered nothing new, and the HD remastered graphics didn't really sell the franchise as much as From Software thought. However, this is different because we're looking at a brand new IP from Software. Now, whether this new IP will benefit Sony or Microsoft is up for debate because we don't know if it's an exclusive yet. You see, Bloodborne, From Software's Victorian-era Dark Souls game, was a PlayStation exclusive. For hardcore Soul fans, it was a must-have, which in turn also made the PS4 a must-have. This new game, Shadows Die Twice, or at least that's what people are calling it based on the text at the end of the trailer, promises to be a brand new IP with no ties to Bloodborne or Dark Souls. There's a lot of information that would suggest this new game is a Sony exclusive, but then again, it could be a Microsoft exclusive instead, or it could be available on both consoles, really. We plan to get more details this summer at E3, so hopefully we'll know more then. Stay patient, my friends. Gears of War 5. Gears of War is one of the most popular Xbox exclusives, right up there with Halo. Released back in 2006 for the Xbox 360, Gears of War was a brutal third-person shooter featuring buff dudes, big guns, and buff aliens with bigger guns. Gears of War hasn't really been hyped up since the third game, with the fourth one falling flat due to a lack of originality and kind of being stale. However, there's a potential fix to this by not only having a new Gears of War 5 game, but 2 more additions to that. Think of it, 3 whole Gears of War games. Now, that may sound like a bit too much Gears to handle, but we'll be getting these one at a time, hopefully. The first game rumored to hit the shelves is Gears of War 5, a welcome return to form for the franchise. This game will be the standard third-person shooter that people are used to. The second game is rumored to be a real-time strategy game like Halo Wars. It's a little off the beaten path for Gears, but that's sure to be a welcome change, right? The third game, however, has people rolling their eyes a little bit. A battle royale game. Yeah, like we need another one of those. We already have PUBG and Fortnite, and even Black Ops 4 is getting in on the action. Look, we get it. Everyone wants to be as popular as Fortnite and PUBG, but enough is enough already. The genre is getting a little too crowded at the moment. There's only so many battle royales and time in the day, you know? And those were some of the things we can look forward to from Sony and Microsoft this year. Who do you think will come out on top in 2018? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to The Gamer to stay up to date with all of our gaming content. Thanks for watching.